Today we're going to continue with Charlottetown, and I'd like you to take a peek at this picture right here. And I want you to look around and think about what you see. What do you think? And what do you wonder about this neighborhood called Treadwell Heights, located in Treadwell? This is where Charlotte lived. Let's find out some more. Treadwell Heights. We live on a hill in a neighborhood called Treadwell Heights, and the glory hole pit is in our backyard. Sometimes we watch hunks of dirt fall from the edge of the glory hole into the deep pit. The most beautiful, long-stemmed, deep purple violets grow close to the edge of the pit. Don't tell my mama, but sometimes when she's busy cooking on her cast iron stove, I crawl to the edge of the pit, hold my breath, extend my hand, and pick the glorious flower. I think I have a guardian angel looking over me because I never slip to my glory. I want you to visualize Charlotte doing that. And we'll go back to that photo of her neighborhood. All right, now I want you to look at this. Treadwell Heights is in this photograph. And also the glory hole open pit mine is in here. I want you to look to see if you can find it. You can scan the picture and look behind the buildings. When you go to Sandy Beach today, I want you to turn around and look at the hills behind you and think, there once was a big town there, and imagine that big glory hole pit and all the buildings. All right, so this right here is a boardwalk in Treadwell, with a bunch of buildings alongside of it, including some boardwalks. As you can see, it says Juneau is in the distance. Let's find out some more about this area. Boardwalks. We have no roads, just boardwalks in front of the buildings. The main boardwalk passes by a clubhouse, an auditorium, 2 large boarding houses, 2 stamp mills, 7 steam-heated bunkhouses, the fire hall, and a residential area known as the Pines. The rent in Treadwell is cheap, and it includes electricity and waste. All right, I'm going to go back to the photo, and I want you to see if you can see a clubhouse. So that would be where they have a lot of different things that happen there. I know there's a bowling alley in the clubhouse and auditorium. Look for boarding houses, stamp mills, and bunkhouses, and a fire hall and a residential area. All right. And maybe you can even spot a wharf. And if you look at the landscape, you'll notice that the landscape is still the same. The mountains are still obviously in the same place. There's an island in this photograph that when you go to Sandy Beach, you will also see even today, over 100 years later. This is a boarding house right here, and this is the dining hall. They could seat up to 500 people. Housing and eating. Families like mine live in neighborhood cottages with 3 to 4 bedrooms for only $11 a month. Our cottage has a cast iron stove and is very warm and cozy. We have steam heating, electricity, and running water. The unmarried miners sleep in bunkhouses and cross the boardwalk to eat at a boarding house. 2 of the boarding houses in our town have large dining halls. The company boarding house has doors that open to a large dining hall half the size of a football field. There are long tables with white tablecloths and benches with built-in shelves for the miners to place their hats while they eat. The room is big enough to feed up to 500 miners at a time. At dinner, delicious meals of salmon, roast beef, baked potatoes, corn, beans, bread pudding, blueberry pie, tea, and coffee are served by waiters. Lunches are packed by the kitchen staff so the miners can bring them to work. Let's go back and take a peek at that. Could you imagine eating in this room? I want you to try to spot the benches with a place for the miners to put their hats. And notice what the miners are wearing as they're eating. They look pretty fancy, don't they? Take a moment and just imagine yourself stepping inside of this hall and saying, "Excuse me," to one of the gentlemen at the table and sitting down and having a meal. This is getting to school. I want you to take a moment to look at this photograph right here and think, what does this have to do with getting to school? That's a locomotive on a train track. All right, let's find out. Getting to school. It is a scary adventure to get to grade school every day. First, we need to walk the narrow boardwalk that runs along a railroad track with shrieking locomotives. I always hold on to my brother Douglas's hand tight to make sure he doesn't jump onto the tracks. Then we climb a terrifically steep flight of wooden steps and cross a tramway that is in the air. Sometimes I think we're lucky we even got to school alive. All right, let's go back and let's look to imagine walking along a railroad track like this. Sure is different than our way to get to school, isn't it? Here is a school house, and let's find out a little bit more about school. Schoolhouse. We used to have a small class of 24 students, but now we are up to 56 kids since the company built more homes for families. In the morning, kindergartners through fourth grade come to school, and in the afternoon, fifth and sixth graders come. The seventh and eighth graders go to school nearby in a town of Douglas. Our teachers live upstairs in the teacherage. And we're going to go back and we're going to look in a moment, and we're going to try to find the teacherage in the photo. Because of the Great War, World War I, our teachers sometimes have us clean and sort sphagnum moss for the Red Cross. The moss is used for bandages and sent overseas by the Red Cross. We always feel proud to help our country and our soldiers. All right, so look at this schoolhouse, and the teacherage is upstairs, and the teacherage is where the teachers live. Can you spot where they live? What would you think about your teacher living upstairs of your classroom? We'll save the plaza for the next time. Thanks for joining.